The journey to California. Life is peaceful when we are mostly sandwiched between gigantic mountain ranges. The people that chose to live on the west coast, islands, and the east coast were all stolen by rising tides. Scientists tried to keep the water levels the same. Sheesh, they even tried making a turbine to just pump the water inland and make new lakes in places like Nevada, Texas, and Arizona. It just seemed like every step we took resulted in large sums of resources wasted on false solutions. So now we have a new coast that's much closer to all of the natural mountain ranges. Mother Nature quite literally drowned most major cities. It was difficult for many to collect their keepsakes, their families, their jobs, and just move farther inland. The rising tides were not all that bad, though. New businesses and inventions started to pop up left and right. Technology became a national treasure. If you thought Fort Knox was the most defended place in the United States, you never saw Area 51. The bullet trains of the deserts, or the server rooms that turned sparks into fireworks. The land of sin quickly became the land of wealth. Those that lost their homes and belongings became obsessed with seeing their home one more time. Of course, entrepreneurs said, I can make that. And soon we had a billion-dollar business that simply took people on a journey through the ruins of California. Most things of wealth were ransacked or taken with the families that left, but still, some things were left behind. Things people thought were trash, or things that people thought they would never forget about. Well, 20 years later, a lot of people started to hire private charters to have submarine adventures just to see their neighborhood again. Some adventurers were able to recover some small objects, but as people started to hoard and damage the old cities, the government had to step in. No one was allowed to recover anything from the depths of California. Not a stone, not a mailbox, not a book. Anything recovered was confiscated by the Navy, and every excursion was monitored with the ease of technology. This led to a small but growing black market. Risky adventurers would go on uncharted excursions in central locations with objectives of retrieving artifacts for the wealthy that once lived there. People paid millions for a single journey, and often they returned with small mementos like a keychain or dinnerware. The larger the object, the greater the risk. But there was never a shortage of pirates to go retrieve some loot of California. One of my favorite stories was when a group of pirates was paid an absurd amount of money to retrieve a statue the size of the average human. A bronze statue that some wealthy millionaire left in their backyard by a pool that grew to become an ocean, and a house that over 100 people could have lived in with extreme comfort. The statue must have meant a lot, but for whatever reason, they couldn't take the statue at the time. The adventurers were genius in recovering it, though. Through the sneaker net, they recruited nearly 1,000 participants and paid them all quite handsomely just to create decoys all over the ocean. The surveillance system had a major flaw. It was still monitored by humans. So with over 1,000 excursions all going on at once, the watchers had no idea who was going to do what. Many of them were honestly just on exploration trips. But the one main gig was to get that statue and don't let it be confiscated by the Navy. I only mention this story because they were extremely successful in recovering the statue. Once it was on land, they had to smuggle it back over the Rocky Mountains, beyond the Nevada Border Patrol, and complete their mission by delivering the statue of Hugh Hefner to some unknown rich person. It took months for the public and the Navy to realize the statue was gone, but once it was, there was a bounty for its recovery. Unfortunately for all the bounty hunters, the statue was never found again except for pictures that swept across the internet. Each time the picture became popular and people thought they knew where the statue was, a new photograph would be uploaded with a new background and claims of being in a whole different country. This mission quickly became a national legend and made the exploration of California waters a new tourist attraction. People invented safer, faster, and more thrilling ways to explore the ruins. One I personally invented was the inverse balloon. Using a combination of GPS coordinates and an incredibly durable balloon that would be filled with dense salt water to draw the craft slowly underneath the water, it was quite literally an inverse hot air balloon. Instead, I named it the cold water balloon. The CWB for short would be dragged into position and securely tethered to the lead boat. This tether was the main safety line for the CWB. While underwater, the craft could be slightly navigated with motorized propellers. The observation dome was pristine, transparent, durable, and lightweight. Through the tether, dense salt water would be added or removed to adjust the depth of the craft. Of course, I thought of the event of a major emergency, and so the balloon weight could be released to allow for accelerated ascent. Otherwise, the weight just has the water slowly pumped back through the tether for reuse. After months of excursions, the company was able to create more and more CWBs, and the company quickly became the most affordable and well-known California sea trips around the globe. As the company grew, though, people started to imitate the design. It was complex and took many years of research and design to perfect. But when the first CWB from a competitor resulted in the loss of 15 lives, the government instilled more safety measures on all CWBs. Profits took a big hit when we had to add more safety measures and do a complete overhaul on the design of our own crafts. Regardless of if we ever had an accident or not, our team of investigators revealed that the competitor that tried to steal our invention simply didn't care about safety. The company that had the accident ended up going through bankruptcy, but our investigators watched them just change their name and create a new CWB with the same issues as before. We know how to spend millions in marketing to assure our clients that they were safe in our hands. But profits took a steep hit, and tourism in California was trending down for the first time. Lucky for us, though, we had the funds and the brains to adapt the CWB to be more efficient and safer than before. Soon enough, the accident from our competition was like a paper cut, and the business had never been better. I'm JowyBlight. Thanks for listening to the story, and I hope to see you in a game sometime.